Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and I wanted to do a simple video today. Just something about books you've already read, nothing, you know, outlandish or too creative, because let's be honest, I don't have the energy right now. I've been trying. I suffer from depression and it goes in waves, as many people know. And right now it's, it's a lot. And one thing about it is the exhaustion. Like no matter how much I sleep, how much time I spend in bed, which I basically spent all last week in bed, napping, sleeping, reading, I'm just bone tired. So I was like, I need to film something shorter. Like I need to get back in the habit of filming, get something out there. And so anyway, I was just thinking about books that I love, that have had a lasting impact on me, that were unique when I read them in some sort of way. That's not to say now that there's nothing that compares to them now, but like ones that will always have a special place with me. I know it's very popular right now to say, things that altered my brain chemistry. I don't know what the title will be, but I don't even know if I said, hey, hi, hello. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, but I just said it now. So that's what this video is about. I don't know how many books I have. I could do a lot of books for this, but again, I wanted to keep this video shorter, and I think I own all but one of the books that I want to talk about, which I realized I need to purchase that book, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So let's just talk about the books that I've loved. When I read them, I was like, pew, and they have just stuck with me the entire time. Now, you may disagree. That's fine. But this is about me. So the first one is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Is it Gillian or Jillian? I never know. But now, I read this before I watched the movie. I don't even think I finished the movie, but this is one of the first, I don't know if it was the first thriller I ever read. Definitely not that, but it was one, when I read it, flabbergasted. I was just like, what is going on? I've never read anything like this before. If I had read any kind of mystery thriller, I don't know if I had read really a domestic one, but it's been a long time since I read this. I cannot remember when, but I just remember being like jaw on the floor, page turning, like, oh my God, what happened? Where is she? You know, did he have something to do with it? And now obviously so many people have read this, so many people have watched the movie, and like when I finished it then, I had a different opinion of like, you know, seeing think pieces and people talk about it now, but like I just remember the entire time being like, and all of the things on the back are so accurate to how I was feeling. The blurbs say ingenious, irresistible, terrifying, mercilessly entertaining, razor sharp, superb, sinister, wickedly clever, menacing. That's how I felt. I was like, there will never be another. And I feel like because I hold on to the emotions that I felt when reading this, that it is so hard for me to enjoy thrillers, especially domestic ones now after having read this. Like I feel like nothing can compare. Like I read some that I've really enjoyed, but I'm like, you will never be Gone Girl. Now, would I ever reread this? I don't know, because I don't want to change my thoughts on it. I want it to stay in my mind cemented as 100 stars, but like I'm also tempted to reread it. I don't know if I ever will, but like just nothing can compare now, because I just it had me by the throat. Okay, and so again, I read this a while ago. When did this come out? Let's see. This was published in 2012. I definitely didn't read it then. Maybe I read it like 2015, 2016. I would have to go look on Goodreads, but oh my word. And I read this before her other books, Sharp Objects in Dark Places, or Dark Objects in Sharp Places, whatever those are called. Dark Places, Sharp Objects, which I liked, but not as much. Again, this is the it girl for me. And so I shall take no slander. It's fine if you don't like it, but it just is hard for anything to really compare. Like I'm like, I don't think anything can truly put me through this again. If it does, y'all will know about it. But this, she's a holy grail in this household. This went crazy, okay? Another, again, I don't really know the difference between mystery thriller. So I always use them interchangeably, which I think is incorrect. But another would be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. Rest in peace. Now, I didn't feel like a movie, because I feel like there's been multiple. A movie adaptation of this was already out and I had heard of it, but I hadn't read it. I feel like I read this one 2015, 2016. And really the original trilogy. But I'm just going to talk about this one. This was a Swedish author and he published, or at least submitted the transcript. Like he published these three, but he unfortunately, I think, had a heart attack or something. Like he died soon after. So there have been continuations. There's like 2 or 3 more by like, I think the author's name is David Lagercrantz or something. And I've read one of them and it was like, it was good, but you can tell it's not him. Like they just don't hit the same. But reading this, I had seen, I don't know if I had seen the movie or at least snippets of the movie. I knew not much about it, except there was a girl with a dragon tattoo, right? Reading this story, even just how it starts, because we have this Goyle. We have Lisbeth Salander, right? And you meet her and you're like, okay, has been through life, has traumas, is very different, living on the edges. And you meet the journalist, what is his name, Michael Blomqvist. This is Swedish, so I'm pronouncing the names wrong, I'm sure. And he's a journalist. And it's very in the beginning, like, how are these two intersecting? How is this coming together? And the way it does, the story, the mystery, the things that happen, the things you find out about Lisbeth and what she has been through. And I was shook. This had me, I was just like, I just think this was so well written. It was so good. It is so brutal, and all of the things that she's been through. And oh look, I got a bookmark in here. I don't know why. But I've read the original trilogy, which was, I think, called the Millennium Trilogy. And then I've read like the 4th one that was written by the new author. I have not progressed past then. It just makes me sad because I think I read somewhere that this was supposed to be like a 10-book series. And I don't know if I will continue because they just don't hit the same. But I will just always hold these in high regard and I want to reread them. But I think I watched one of the movies. There was like a US version. I don't know which one I watched. But of course it wasn't the same. Like this, it's been a while since I read it, but just know that it stays in here. And Lisbeth is one of my favorite female characters. And this was just so good. Again, I feel like I read these around the same time, and now it's hard for mystery thrillers to live up to these. Like you could be good, but are you gonna be this good? It's hard to surpass. Y'all have heard me talk about this one, but that's what I meant to do. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause and go get something out of the room because I wanted to talk about the 5th season. But I always like to complain because the 5th season just has this cover, right? It's only this cover, and the other ones, I think these are like stock images. They're only paperback and there's no special editions. However, I just got my long-awaited special edition of this book and I want to show you because I don't do book hauls anymore, but and I haven't really been buying that many books, but that one I ordered a long time ago and it finally arrived and I just want to show it to you. But this will always sit in my brain. Like this might have actually rewired my brain, altered my brain chemistry, because I put this off for so long after I bought it because I don't remember before this book reading anything in 2nd person POV. And I remember reading the first chapter and being like, oh no, I can't do this, and put it down. And then I finally came back to it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna push through. And just the use of the 2nd person POV was so genius. The twists and turns, the developments that we get, are so good, but they're so much more satisfying because of the way the story was told. I love this trilogy. This one is still my favorite of the three. I definitely need a reread though, but I just was like, when I read this, I'd read nothing like, because it's very like sci fantasy, because we're dealing with kind of like the world ending again, you know, lots of cataclysmic things, climate things happening, and there's so much in the story. This mom on this mission, because this book starts out heavy with grief because she's lost people, but then she's still going to go look for her daughter. And sometimes a journey fantasy is not for me, but this one was so good. And just like the different things we learn about the world and people and like kind of magic influences, but then also like the sci-fi elements, and especially like the environmental climate things that would happen. This was, and then when we got, bitch, when we got to the ending, I was like, I beg your finest pardon in the best way. Forever. N.K. Jemisin has a very unique writing style, and will not work for everybody. And that's fair, I guess. But this, just, still, there have not been books I've read since this, not many, that I've been like, you know, like, I don't even know. I feel like I'm using no words in this video, because that's the problem with these books, as like they're so good. There's not enough words that I know in the English language to describe them. Do you know what I mean? But hold please, because I want to show you this beautiful edition that I just got boxed beautifully. Take that off. Another layer of protection. Love to see it. Bubble wrapped. Beautiful bookmark. Right? Beautiful purple slipcase. This is one of the thickest dust jackets I've ever felt in my life. It's so thick. Like, it's so thick, I can't even explain it. Nigel, hey, no sir. Then you have, this is just the 5th season. Unfortunately, only book 1, but it's so beautiful. This is created by Curious King Books, a very small company in the UK, but here on the thing it also says the 5th season is the Hugo Award-winning first novel in the credible N.K. Jemisin Broken Earth trilogy. This is the Amethyst edition, published by Curious King Books with blessing from N.K. Jemisin, 2024. And the artist who did the illustrations that you'll see is John Anthony Di Giovanni, and just, it's just stunning. I have copy 162 out of 500 copies, so it's signed by N.K. Jemisin and the artist, so I just think that's beautiful. And then there's just so much. It's gorgeous. I love the purple so much. Like all of the headings are in purple, and then throughout there are these full color illustrations. Like, this is better than the mock-ups looked. Of course, a purple ribbon. And it's just stunning. There's more illustrations in here. I won't show you all of them, but like there's more illustrations in here. And then that on the end. And it is just fucking beautiful. And it's it makes me, I mean, I'm very happy to have this, but literally this is the only special edition in existence, and it is a crime that there aren't more when there are so many books out here that get non-stop special editions. Anyway, if you've been intimidated to read the 5th season, you should try it. Y'all should not be surprised at this. Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. This is the edition that was through Kickstarter. It's got these silver edges. Ooh, that's bright. And it is another beautiful book. But I remember hearing about this one because so many people were raving about it as a self-published fantasy, and I was like, ooh, well, I want to read that. And at the time, and I don't know if it still is, it was on Kindle Unlimited, and less than halfway through it, I ordered a physical copy because I was like, no, I'm gonna need to own this. I just think the plot structure of this one is so different than what I had experienced, and reading this story focused on the mother and son in this very patriarchal society, but also having a woman who was a badass before she became a mother and son and getting to see her previous life. I just, it just did something for me. The fight scenes were like, I don't always visualize them well, but this was like a movie. Like, it read so well, I could envision it all. I love the elemental magic that was in it and the familial relationships, but also that this is like fantasy inspired Japan, but it still was also like modern day, like they talk about, I'm pretty sure, like cell phone towers. So that was unique, and just the way things were happening at certain times, you're like, hold on, I know you just didn't. Did you just? What is going to? Oh, the crushing pain, anytime someone brings this up, I start to get like, when I think about them in this story. I rarely think a book earns its length. I think this one did. I think this is a masterpiece of writing a fantasy of perfection. And if you haven't read it, what are you doing? That's it. I'm gonna get emotional. But listen, so this is Ken Follett, The Pillars of the Earth. Okay, I still have only read this one, even though I have the other two in this series. And this author has multiple books, all of them very chunky, but this is a historical fiction book. And I had always been interested in it, and then I ended up buddy reading it with my friend Naomi. And I don't know what we were expecting, but it wasn't this, in the best way. Now this, if you hear about it, is about basically the story of, what century is this in? But it's based 12th century England, about a church being built, like essentially. That's what it's about. But there's so much mess in this book. Who knew monks could be so messy? There is so much just drama between people, between the family, between the church and the people. I was enthralled, okay? Like, this book is almost 800 pages. No, about 971 pages. And this was just 12th century drama. But like, so good, so well told. It wasn't just messy to be messy. It was like, I could see this actually being what was happening back then, because these churches, cathedrals, take a long time to build. There's a lot of people involved. And so with people comes what? Mess inherently. I don't know. I just was shocked. I was flabbergasted reading this and how like juicy it was. How we would be sending each other voice updates. And I would be like, oh my God, this just happened. Now there is sexual assault on page. Again, I know that's more than messy, but like, we would just be like, oh my God, did that just happen? Did she just say that? Oh, did she just leave and go to? It was chef's kiss drama of the 12th century. And I just was not expecting that at all. So I just always think of this. Especially when I'm like, oh yeah, historical fiction. I'm like, I need to continue in this series because wow, that was a good time. If you were like, oh, historical fiction is just so boring. Not this, honey. The Pillars of the Earth, not this. And lastly, to round out this video, because again, I've been a yapper. Y'all have heard me talk about this one, but I just have to, it fits here. It fits here, especially with something that has altered my brain chemistry, and that's Vita Nostra. I always struggle to say what this is about because did I really understand it? I don't know. I meant to reread this so I could read the sequel, and I still haven't, but this is just like, to me, the peak of dark academia. This is set basically like in a fantasy Russia, I think, and the young girl is applying to university, but some man comes along basically and is like, no, you're going to this special place. And she's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, oh, but yes, you are, unless you want harm to come to your family. And it goes like that. And so basically under threat of violence to her family, her mother, she's like, okay. So he's making her do all of these things to like make sure she's listening, being obedient, and like, hey, you are going to report here. So she has to concoct a story of why she's going to this university. And then it is so interesting. Like, yes, we get the regular courses like English and math or something, but then they have all these like metaphysical things. And that's where my head is like, but still it was so interesting to read because it's like you get the academia, because I can't stand when something is marketed as dark academia and nobody is going to class. So they're in class, but you're also seeing the dark part of dark academia because homeboy's like, oh, you just because you're at the school now, don't play. And it's just not her. It's other people's students too who, slacking off, and then something happened. I don't know. Oh, is your granny dead? You better get in here and study. Like it. And then towards the end, when things are getting real metaphysical and real, I was just like, that's it. That's all I could do. I was just like, yeah. Did you understand that? I hope you did. It's not for everybody, but it was for me. And it lives up here, rent free. So those are just some of the ones, yeah. I recommend them all. I don't know if everyone, maybe read them, read some reviews, especially 3-star reviews. I feel like are the best reviews to read if you're not sure if you're gonna like something. But yeah, rent free, brain altering, chemistry alter, whatever. Anywho, have you read any of these? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any books that are like that for you? Like that they have, just blown you away and now every other book in the genre, it just can't compare? Like, I need to know. So maybe I can find some new ones. But thank you for watching, and I hope you're okay. The world seems worse every day. So, struggle I shall. I hope you're not, though. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. I need to write that down because I can't remember how to say it. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.